Hi, everybody. So I just wanted to give you a quick review of how I have my Canvas class organized and the features that you can use to help you prepare for assessments. So first off, I wanted to point out that I have learning outcomes posted on my Canvas page. Let's take a look at what those look like. So right at the top, I have a green box that has learning objectives listed for our current unit. And usually I have these abbreviated, so I have some of the details cut out. If you want to see the full document, you can click on a link that I have there that will take you to the big document for a particular unit. I try to make sure to double check and strike through any material that we haven't covered for a particular unit, and also when I made the units for these outcomes, I had an idea of what I typically covered for a test. So you may see material from other units inserted at the end, or if there's going to be some overlap of information. If you see something on these learning outcomes that you feel like we haven't covered or isn't familiar to you, please write me or ask me in class to make sure that to see what that's about. And perhaps I didn't catch that there was something there that I don't plan to assess you on, at least not for that particular test. Okay, should always check the Canvas page. Don't just rely on the calendar for information. So I don't put visuals and links on our Canvas page by mistake. It's always there to give you a hint about things that you should be looking at. So for example, this is an interference pattern. This is Bohr's model of the atom. There's a link here to some worksheets or packets that I had you do that's relevant to this. So make sure that you don't forget to go back and look at what we've done. Everything's listed by the date. And if you date your notes, put a date on any notes that you take, then you can relate them to our Canvas page. One more time, date your notes. All right, labs and demonstrations. So again, you can find when we did these on the Canvas page, and you should always be making notes of any time that I pull you out and just do something, even if it's when I have students acting something out in class, or if I show you a reaction happening, and especially if we have labs. But all of that is fair game for me to ask you a similar question, or it's there to help you understand the real world applications of the concept. So it's a good idea to look over those and make sure that you understand how they relate to what we're learning. Lastly, I suggest that you quiz yourself before you recopy notes, and maybe just don't recopy notes. That is usually a waste of your time. Making study guides, big, long Google Doc study guides, is also probably a waste of your time because you're really just recopying everything, and it'll lead you to think that you understand things even when you might not. So how can you quiz yourself? Well, one thing, you can use the CK12 quizzes that are available in your textbook. Even if I haven't assigned the reading, the table of contents is pretty clear and you can find the topics that we've covered. Now, is CK12 going to completely align with everything that we're doing? Maybe not. So if there's some things that you think may be more advanced or different than what I've taught you, then you can always disregard it. Use your best judgment. Again, going through the Canvas page, you can look up past homework and redo it. I usually have answer keys, and that leads me to my last suggestion. If you see homework and I haven't provided you with an answer key, ask me. Maybe I neglected inadvertently to post it there, and I'd be happy to give it to you. If not, I'll let you know. Also, I can probably find more practice problems for you to do if you feel like you need to do something different than what you've already done for your homework. So these are all things that you should try out. Making sure to check out the learning outcomes. Now, is every little detail that I want you to know in the learning outcomes? No. There are some things that we've talked about in class that might show up on an assessment that isn't, small details that are examples of this that won't be in there. So I literally can't put down every single thing that we've talked about, but this gives you a general idea of the skills and the basic ideas that I want you to know. Make sure that you look over the Canvas page, and don't neglect looking over labs and demonstrations. If we've done any calculations with a lab or a demonstration, then you should make sure that you know how to do those. Date your notes so that you can go back and find things and compare them to the Canvas page, and make sure that you quiz yourself and do that before you recopy your notes. After you've quizzed yourself and you've figured out what you may or may not know, you can go back and find that information on our Canvas page or in your notes and learn more about it, and fill in those gaps in your knowledge. And lastly, I didn't put this on here, but you should try to explain any of the big concepts to somebody else. Try to teach someone else, and that'll really help you figure out where the gaps in your content knowledge are. All right, I hope this is helpful, and let me know if you have any questions.